The weight of the crystal tumbler felt heavy in Liam's hand, the amber of the whiskey catching the distant city lights from his penthouse window. He and Ethan were both alphas, a biological impossibility for a paired couple, yet their pheromones registered a 100% match. The government, in its infinite and detached wisdom, had issued them a marriage certificate on the spot. A bitter laugh escaped him. All he'd ever wanted was a soft, yielding omega, not this cold, immovable man. 2 weeks into their state-sanctioned union, their parents were bizarrely pleased, even gifting them this sprawling apartment. But Liam wanted no part of it. He could never forget that day, the bleakest of his life. He remembered storming into Ethan's corporate headquarters, ready to throw a rescinded contract in his face. Just as he was about to unleash his fury, both their phones buzzed with the same sterile, official notification. It was a message from the Central Registry, informing them that based on a mandatory, full database pheromone scan, their ideal match had been located and locked. The compatibility was absolute. The message concluded with congratulations on their newly finalized marriage registration. His designated spouse was Ethan. It was a grotesque joke. He was an alpha. Ethan was an alpha. Before he could process the absurdity, a knock sounded at the office door. Ethan, his face an unreadable mask of calm, called for the person to enter. It was his assistant, a pleasant omega whose faint, clean scent Liam had noticed before. A pang of irritation shot through him at the thought of such a person being wasted on an emotional glacier like Ethan. He watched as the assistant placed a sleek federal envelope on the desk and departed. The moment the door clicked shut, Liam slapped the envelope from Ethan's grasp, jabbing a finger at his chest and demanding to know what kind of sick game this was. Ethan brushed his hand away, his expression unchanged. He picked up the envelope, opened it, and revealed the official document inside. A muscle twitched in Liam's jaw. He snatched the paper, his eyes scanning the printed text confirming their union, complete with their corporate headshots. It was ludicrous. After reading it several times, he threw the certificate to the floor with a strangled gasp, accusing Ethan of doing this deliberately just to spite him over the downtown development plot. He seethed that Ethan had won, that he could have the damn land. Unfazed, Ethan calmly retrieved the certificate and held it out. He stated plainly that it was government-issued, and they were now legally husbands. The sheer composure of the man left Liam speechless, his mouth opening and closing without a sound. After a moment of tense silence, Ethan returned to his desk, dropped Liam's meticulously prepared contract into the shredder, and allowed a ghost of a smile to touch his lips. He remarked that he never intended to give Liam that land anyway. The comment sent a fresh wave of rage through Liam, a throbbing pulse at his temples. He had not only lost the deal but had been shackled to his rival in the process. That night, he drank himself into a stupor. Arriving home, he found the apartment dark. Fumbling for the lights, he was startled to see a figure sitting on the sofa. His heart seized before he recognized Ethan, an unlit cigarette held loosely between his fingers, his gaze intense and unsettling. The alcohol made Liam's tongue thick as he slurred an insult, questioning why Ethan was sitting in the dark like a lunatic. Ethan didn't answer. He rose and crossed the room, the sound of his dress shoes heavy on the hardwood floor. He was still in his suit. He asked where Liam had been, his voice low and gravelly. The sight of him reignited Liam's anger, and he shoved at Ethan's shoulder, telling him it was none of his business. In the next second, his wrist was captured in a searingly hot grip. A gentle tug brought him stumbling forward, crashing against Ethan's chest. A hand clamped onto his waist, a punishing squeeze. Ethan's voice was a low rumble against his ear as he stated that as his husband, it was his business. The sudden intimacy stunned Liam, and he instinctively stomped on Ethan's polished shoe. A grunt of pain was the only response, but the grip didn't loosen. A sharp, powerful scent of cedarwood, Ethan's scent, began to fill the air, thick and oppressive. Liam's eyes widened in realization. He looked up into Ethan's flushed face and began to struggle, recognizing the signs of an impending rut. But Ethan's strength was overwhelming. He was lifted off his feet and carried towards the stairs. As an alpha, Liam knew exactly what Ethan needed, but he was the wrong type of partner for it. The moment his back hit the soft mattress of the bed, true panic set in. He scrambled away, pulling the duvet around himself like a shield, pleading with Ethan to calm down, reminding him that he was an alpha, not an omega. Ethan's throat worked, and he affirmed that he knew. When he moved to press closer, Liam desperately covered his face, pushing him back, offering to call as many omegas as he wanted. For a moment, the figure above him froze, and Liam felt a sliver of relief. But as he reached for his phone, both his hands were seized and pinned above his head. Hot breath washed over his ear as Ethan's cold laugh sent a shiver down his spine. He questioned why he would want anyone else when he had his husband right here. The term made Liam's skin crawl. He tried to kick out, but Ethan used the motion to settle his weight between Liam's legs, trapping him completely. A wet, hot sensation on the tip of his ear drew a choked gasp from him, heat flooding his face and neck. The cedarwood scent intensified, and he trembled with fury, threatening Ethan with consequences if he dared to touch him. He was ignored. Ethan's mouth moved to his earlobe, and Liam threatened divorce. A low chuckle vibrated against his neck. Ethan lifted his head, his heated gaze fixed on Liam's lips. He reminded Liam that a divorce decree would take 30 days to process. His thumb traced Liam's lower lip, his voice husky as he added that his rut would last 2 weeks. During that time, he warned, it was possible for Liam to conceive. A wave of unprecedented shame washed over him, and his eyes burned. He told him to get away, screaming that an alpha couldn't get pregnant. Ethan's voice was a low murmur as he explained that an alpha's reproductive system was merely dormant, not absent. He leaned down to kiss him, but Liam wrenched his head aside. The rejection seemed to trigger something, and Ethan's hand clamped onto his jaw, forcing his head back. An onslaught of hot breath and the intoxicating scent of cedarwood overwhelmed his senses. A feeling of utter defeat washed over him as tears of humiliation streamed down his temples. Ethan hadn't been exaggerating. The following 2 weeks were a blur. The apartment saturated with a potent mix of cedarwood and Liam's own salt air pheromones, which, to his disgust, blended together seamlessly. Staring blankly at the ceiling, the government's message about a 100% match echoed in his mind. Because of that damned message, his pride was in tatters. The door opened and Ethan entered. Seeing him awake, a faint curve appeared on Ethan's lips. He reached out, pulling Liam up into a sitting position and asking if he was hungry. Liam had no intention of speaking to him, but his stomach betrayed him with a low growl. He shot Ethan a venomous look, which was met with a husky acknowledgement. An ominous feeling crept over him as Ethan pushed him back onto the bed, murmuring that he was hungry too, and that Liam would have to feed him first. Hours later, feeling utterly drained, he was carried to the bathroom, washed, and then fed spoonfuls of soup like an invalid. A profound sense of frustration consumed him. He couldn't fathom why Ethan would choose a hardened alpha like himself over the countless omegas available. The only explanation was that Ethan despised him and wanted to humiliate him. Though they had been rivals since childhood, he thought there was some line of decency that wouldn't be crossed. Annoyed by his own thoughts, he turned his head away, refusing to eat anymore. Ethan paused, then set the bowl down. He asked if Liam was still angry. Liam scoffed at the stupid question, retorting that of course he was angry enough to kill him. He swung a fist weakly, but Ethan easily caught his wrist and pulled him onto his lap. Liam's bravado vanished instantly. Ethan's voice, laced with amusement, was soft beside his ear. He offered Liam the downtown development plot he had wanted, asking him not to be angry. Liam told him to get lost, insisting he could get it on his own. Ethan agreed, then asked what else he wanted. The conciliatory tone was so alien coming from Ethan that it made Liam shiver. A malicious idea sparked. He turned, a cruel smile on his face, and said he wanted to be with Omegas, and he wanted a divorce. Immediately, the warmth in Ethan's demeanor vanished, his face hardening into a cold mask. The faint scent of cedarwood returned, making Liam's legs feel weak. He lost his nerve and said no more. They sat in a tense standoff that felt like an eternity. Finally, Ethan's breathing grew unsteady. He pushed Liam aside, stood, and straightened his suit. Without a backward glance, he walked out of the room. That night, Ethan didn't come back. Nor the next day, nor the day after. Liam should have been relieved, but a strange tightness constricted his chest. After 4 days, his body had mostly recovered, and he returned to his own company. His mood so foul that he didn't even have the energy to flirt with the Omega at the front desk. He shut himself in his office and instructed his procurement department to terminate all contracts with Ethan's corporation. His assistant took the directive with trembling hands and fled. He was rubbing his temples in frustration when a knock came at the door. It was his assistant again, this time with a thin courier envelope. Liam tore it open. Inside was a single document. At the top, in bold letters, were 2 words: divorce agreement. It was from Ethan. Fury, sharp and blinding, surged through him. If anyone was going to initiate a divorce, it would be him. How dare Ethan, after calling him husband only days ago, make the first move? He threw the agreement in the trash, grabbed his keys, and sped towards Ethan's office building. He blew past the assistant, who informed him that Mr. Hayes was in a meeting, and burst into the conference room, demanding that Ethan get out there. The moment their eyes met, Liam's legs felt strangely weak, but he held his ground. He told everyone else to leave as well. A few people started to rise, but Ethan motioned for them to stay seated and continue the meeting. He acted as if Liam wasn't even there. Seething, Liam sat down in the empty chair beside him and took a long drink from Ethan's water glass. When the meeting finally concluded, the executives filed out with palpable relief. Ethan remained seated, studying the meeting notes. Liam's patience snapped. He snatched the papers from Ethan's hand and threw them aside, demanding to know why he was the one filing for divorce. Ethan didn't even look up. He simply replied that it was what Liam had said he wanted. Liam insisted that he should be the one to file. Ethan's detached calm was infuriating. Liam grabbed his chin, forcing him to look up, and informed him that he had already sent his own people to handle it. Ethan's gaze finally fell on him, heavy and unreadable. He thought Liam was being ridiculous. Frustrated by the unnerving scrutiny, Liam pushed him away. Ethan's voice was hoarse when he said Liam's name. Hearing it brought back a flood of humiliating memories from the past 2 weeks, fueling his anger. He demanded to know what Ethan wanted, criticizing his stoic demeanor. Before he could finish his tirade, a hand cupped the back of his head, and Ethan's mouth crashed against his. The words died in his throat, replaced by a muffled sound of protest. His lips were bruised, his struggling arms pinned behind his back. He couldn't understand what had possessed the man. The famously ascetic Ethan, who wouldn't even touch an Omega's hand, was now fixated on him, a fellow Alpha. Sensing his distraction, Ethan pulled back slightly, his breathing ragged. He asked if Liam was aware of how strong his own pheromones smelled right now. Liam was momentarily stunned, then scoffed, denying that he was broadcasting his scent like some amateur. Ethan's hand slid to his waist, the heat searing through the fabric of his shirt. He asked if Liam truly didn't know, or if he was just pretending. The hot breath by his ear made him flinch. He told Ethan to speak plainly. A low chuckle was his only answer. Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. He told Liam that he smelled entirely of him. The realization hit him like a physical blow. Heat rushed to his face and neck. He protested that it was impossible. He had showered multiple times. Ethan confirmed he knew, his hand tightening on Liam's waist as he forcefully turned him and pressed him down onto the long conference table. That was why he had been trying to restrain himself. But now he couldn't anymore. Suddenly, Liam could smell it too. The overwhelming, intoxicating scent of cedarwood fogged his mind, and his body betrayed him with an involuntary arch of his back. He protested that they were in the office, but Ethan assured him that no one would dare to enter. His struggles were useless. He had never engaged in anything like this, even with Omegas. This cold, impassive man was a surprisingly inventive tormentor. Afterwards, he was left boneless and weak, slumped in Ethan's executive chair. Ethan himself had reverted to his cool, composed state, the only evidence of their encounter a fresh bite mark on his jaw. The ringing of his phone shattered the strange quiet. It was his assistant, confirming that the divorce papers were ready for his signature. He curtly told her he was on his way out to sign them. His legs were still trembling as he used the wall for support. Ethan followed a few feet behind him. On the way out, several employees blushed and averted their eyes. Liam blamed Ethan under his breath, but Ethan, looking straight ahead, retorted that Liam had started it. When they reached his office, Liam shoved the documents at him and told him to sign. Ethan scanned the pages and affixed his signature with a speed that felt surreal. It was only when Liam handed the signed agreement back to his assistant that the finality of it sank in. He and Ethan were divorced. A hollow feeling settled in his chest, but he pushed it away. He was free. It was time to make up for lost time. That evening, he went to his usual private club. An Omega he'd been seeing for months, Jesse, greeted him warmly, pouting that he hadn't visited in so long. Liam assured him he was still his favorite. Jesse was his type, and watching the Omega's moist lips part in a smile, Liam leaned in for a kiss. But he stopped just short. Confused, Jesse asked what was wrong. Liam mumbled an excuse and placed a chaste kiss on his cheek, but made no further move. Jesse's concern was evident, but Liam found himself strangely devoid of desire. He made an excuse about being tired and promised to see him another time, then fled the private room. The cool night air did little to clear his head. It was bizarre. In the past, the mere scent of Jesse's milky pheromones would have been enough to drive him wild. Now he felt as potent as a beta. Before he could wallow in his predicament, his assistant called. His voice was hesitant as he relayed a message from the Civil Affairs Bureau. Liam impatiently told him to spit it out. The assistant stammered that the Bureau had rejected the divorce. A 100% match was legally indissoluble. He finished by adding that the Bureau representative had called them a match made in heaven and wished them a lifetime of happiness. A cold suspicion dawned on him. Recalling Ethan's unnaturally calm demeanor while signing the papers, He realized the man must have known all along. He had been played for a fool. Furious, he sped to the penthouse, intending to pack his things and leave for good. He was surprised to find Ethan there. At the sight of Liam, Ethan's lips started to curve into a smile, but it froze on his face. He asked where Liam had been. Liam brushed past him, snapping that it was none of his business. As he passed, Ethan's hand shot out, clamping around his wrist. His voice was unsteady. He asked if Liam had been with an Omega. Liam didn't want to admit the truth, but seeing Ethan's distress gave him a perverse sense of satisfaction. He sneered that he had, and that it was much better than being with him. The air grew thick with tension. Then, Ethan abruptly released him, turned, and slammed the door on his way out. Liam was left standing there, bewildered. He was the one who should be angry. What right did Ethan have to be upset? He quickly packed a bag and left. A month passed. He didn't bother Ethan at his company, and Ethan, in turn, left him alone. Yet Liam was still agitated. He was infuriated to hear that Ethan had just closed another major deal. It wasn't fair that he was the only one feeling distracted and out of sorts while Ethan seemed completely unaffected. They had been rivals their whole lives, with Ethan always one step ahead. The one time Liam had bested him, he later found out Ethan had let him win, an insult that had led to a week of silent treatment. The idea that the registry considered them a match made in heaven was laughable. His phone rang, interrupting his angry thoughts. It was his mother. She informed him that he and Ethan were expected at his great-grandfather's birthday dinner that evening. He immediately refused, but his mother was unyielding, making it clear it wasn't a request. She hung up before he could argue further. After scrolling through his contacts, he reluctantly called Ethan. The call went to voicemail almost immediately. He tried several more times with the same result. The fact that Ethan was ignoring his calls left him feeling inexplicably sour. That evening, impeccably dressed, he arrived at the family estate alone, prepared for a lecture. But as he entered the main hall, he saw his mother chatting animatedly with someone. As he drew closer, he realized it was Ethan. He demanded to know why Ethan was there, since he hadn't answered his phone. Ethan, his faint smile vanishing, replied that Liam's mother had invited him. His mother chimed in, telling Ethan to call her mom. Liam, irritated, pulled them apart, complaining that she never smiled at him, her actual son, with such warmth. She chided him for being childish and placed his hand in Ethan's, telling them to work on their relationship before she walked away. The moment she was out of earshot, Ethan dropped his hand and moved away, pulling out his phone. The message was clear. He wanted nothing to do with him. For the rest of the evening, apart from polite necessities at the dinner table, Ethan didn't speak a word to him, his gaze never once meeting Liam's. As soon as the dinner concluded, Liam tried to leave, but his mother intercepted him, insisting that he and Ethan stay the night. In the guest room, Liam declared that he would sleep on the sofa. Ethan, without looking at him, said coldly that the bed was big enough. But then he grabbed a pillow and blanket and settled onto the sofa himself. Liam, bewildered, demanded to know what his problem was, accusing him of finding him repulsive. Ethan glanced at him briefly and stated that he just thought it was better if they kept their distance. The hypocrisy was astounding, coming from the man who had held him captive in his own bed. Liam marched over, snatched the blanket, and threw it onto the bed, forbidding him from sleeping on the sofa. He declared that since it was his family's house, Ethan had to listen to him. Ethan finally looked at him, his voice flat. He said he didn't want to. The simple refusal left Liam speechless. Ethan didn't want to share a bed with him, Liam gave a bitter laugh, asking if Ethan thought he wanted to. Ethan looked away, murmuring that Liam didn't understand. Liam scoffed, asking what there was to understand, and sarcastically questioned if Ethan was secretly in love with him. At that, Ethan shot to his feet, startling Liam, who took a step back. But Ethan just walked past him into the bathroom, telling him to get some rest. Later that night, Liam lay awake, listening to the soft sound of Ethan's breathing from the sofa. It was infuriating. Only Ethan could be so calm, so unaffected. Throwing off the covers, Liam crept over to the sofa. In the dim moonlight filtering through the window, he studied the sleeping figure. His eyelashes were long, his nose straight, his lips a bit thin but surprisingly soft to the touch. The thought made him flush. Ethan was undeniably handsome, but his personality was glacial. Suddenly, a pair of dark eyes were staring back at him. He had been caught. Mortified, he turned to flee, but a strong hand clamped around his wrist, pulling him back. Ethan's voice was low as he asked why he was running after staring so intently. The next moment, the world tilted, and he found himself pinned beneath Ethan on the narrow sofa, their faces inches apart. Ethan's voice was a low rumble as he asked if Liam could ever just be still. Their breath mingled, and an unwelcome warmth spread through Liam's body. He retorted that Ethan was the one who needed to keep his hands to himself. Ethan paused, his expression turning blank again. Then he pushed Liam off him without a shred of hesitation. Liam landed on the floor, stunned and breathless. Ethan had just let him go. He hadn't tried to kiss him or anything else. His mind was in turmoil as he stumbled back to bed. The next morning, Ethan was gone. Liam pushed aside his confusing feelings and went to his office. A few days later, at a major industry gala, he ran into Ethan again. He couldn't resist approaching him, making a sarcastic comment about Ethan needing to attend such minor events. Ethan ignored him, but an older executive next to him chuckled, noting that he had heard Liam and Ethan were married. While Ethan sipped his drink in silence, a young Omega suddenly appeared, linking his arm with Ethan's and greeting him sweetly. Seeing Liam, the Omega paused, asking who he was. An unpleasant feeling churned in Liam's gut. Before he could answer, Ethan spoke, asking the Omega if he was done playing, and that it was time to go. Something inside Liam snapped. He strode forward, pulled them apart, and gripped Ethan's arm tightly, demanding to know what he was doing. Ethan's expression was unreadable as he pulled his arm free and smoothed his sleeve, telling him not to make a scene. Enraged by the dismissive tone and the Omega's smug expression, Liam grabbed the other man and shoved him towards Ethan. He spat that Ethan was incredible, already moving on to someone new after just a few days. The words caught in his throat, and unable to continue, he turned and fled. He collapsed into the back of his car and called for his driver. As he waited, his nose began to sting and his eyes welled up. Why was he so upset? Ethan could be with whomever he wanted. Frustrated, he grabbed a bottle of liquor from the car's minibar and began to drink. The world dissolved into a blurry haze. The next thing he knew, he was waking up in a bed. The room was familiar, but something felt off. When Ethan walked in carrying a bowl, he realized he was in their penthouse. He had called his driver, not Ethan. Ethan told him to drink the sobering soup. Liam knocked the bowl from his hand, sending it crashing to the floor. The darkness that clouded Ethan's eyes gave him a small measure of satisfaction. He turned his back to him, muttering that Ethan was a meddling fool. He hadn't asked to be brought here. He would be happy if Ethan found an Omega and left him alone for good. He waited for a long time, but heard no footsteps, no closing door. He slowly turned his head and found Ethan still standing there, his gaze dark and intense. The look sent a jolt of fear through him, amplified by the alcohol. Ethan finally moved, leaning over him, his voice rough. He asked if Liam really hated him that much. Staring at his own panicked reflection in Ethan's eyes, Liam stammered that he did. He hated his pretentious act, hated that he was always better, hated that they were married, and hated that Ethan had slept with him. He hated him now, especially after he had called him husband, kissed him, held him, and then discarded him like a tool once his rut was over. A weight lifted from his chest as Ethan suddenly pulled him up, pressing him against his warm body. A deep voice rumbled above him, asking if he could interpret Liam's words to mean that he liked it when he did those things. Liam squirmed, denying it, claiming he disliked everything about Ethan. A warm breath ghosted over his neck as Ethan pointed out that his pheromones were telling a different story. Liam insisted it was just a physiological reaction, but his protest was cut short by a sharp pain in his neck, followed by a rush of heat. His voice cracked as he accused the bastard of marking him an alpha. Ethan licked the spot, his voice muffled as he reminded him it wasn't the first time. Husband. Liam begged him not to call him that, but Ethan whispered that he seemed to enjoy it. His hand slid down Liam's back, and Liam's body went limp. He was pushed onto the bed as the scent of cedarwood filled his senses. He must be sick. He had felt nothing for the omega, yet under Ethan's touch, his body burned. He bit his lip, refusing to make a sound. Ethan commanded him to open his mouth, forcing his fingers past his lips. Liam resisted, but Ethan's voice softened, becoming seductive. He asked if Liam really didn't like it, promising to stop if he said so. As promised, all movement ceased. For a moment, Liam felt a sense of reprieve, but it was quickly replaced by an agonizing, crawling need. He bit down on Ethan's fingers, a low whimper escaping his lips. He confessed that he didn't dislike it. He liked it. Ethan's breath hitched, and he replaced his fingers with his mouth, kissing him until the sky began to lighten outside the window. When he woke again, his body ached and his throat was raw. Ethan was propped up on an elbow watching him. He asked if Liam remembered what had happened last night. Liam's voice was a hoarse croak as he answered. A flush of heat spread across his face, and he pulled the covers over his head, calling Ethan a bastard for messing with him when he had a new lover. The covers were gently pulled back. Ethan's rough thumb stroked his ear as he explained that the man at the gala, Colin, was his cousin who was visiting, and who was already mated. Each word made Liam feel more foolish, and he buried his face deeper into the pillow. After a long silence, Ethan leaned close. He asked if Liam had been jealous. Liam shot up, vehemently denying it, claiming he had been enjoying his freedom. He rambled on, trying to list all the ways his life was better without Ethan, but the words faltered. He accused Ethan of ignoring him, of not wanting to touch him. Ethan pulled him into his arms, his voice a low confession. That night, he had been the one who was jealous. He knew Liam liked to play around, but he couldn't help it. They were married, yet Liam still didn't belong to him. He asked if Liam understood. A wild, impossible thought began to form, connecting all the disparate pieces of their recent history. He looked into Ethan's earnest eyes, his heart hammering against his ribs. He asked, disbelievingly, if Ethan actually liked him. Ethan replied that he thought Liam had known all along, but simply refused to accept it. He kissed the corner of Liam's mouth, but Liam turned his head away, telling him he was insane. They were both alphas. How could he ever have imagined Ethan felt that way about him? Ethan's hand slid down his spine. He pointed out that they had done everything a couple could do, and asked if Liam thought he was the type of person to do that casually. Flustered, Liam pulled his hand away, insisting he didn't like him. He liked Omegas. Ethan leaned in, his voice a low, teasing murmur, reminding him of who he had cried out for last night. He pulled Liam onto his lap, confessing that it was his fault for not telling him sooner. But he didn't think Liam, in his stubbornness, would have believed him. He said it simply, "Liam, I like you." The words stunned him into silence. He finally managed to ask if Ethan's feelings were just based on lust. Ethan chuckled, squeezing his cheek gently. He confessed he had liked him for a long time. He liked watching him chase after him, liked his foolish pride, liked his inability to be honest with his feelings. And he liked his scent, especially after they were married. The realization that all those years of rivalry had been fueled by Ethan's secret affection was overwhelming. He buried his face in Ethan's neck, his voice muffled as he asked why he never said anything. Ethan explained that if he had, Liam would have just pushed him further away. And he was right. The old Liam would have fought him. But now, stealing a glance at Ethan's profile, a new, unfamiliar emotion bloomed in his chest. Ethan added that he had almost given up, but Liam kept provoking him, kept seeking him out even when he was trying to keep his distance. He showed Liam a video on his phone from the night he'd found him drunk. In the dim light, Liam could see himself, crying and clinging to Ethan's suit, sobbing his name and demanding to know why Ethan was ignoring him. Mortified, he pushed the phone away. Ethan's grip on him tightened. He asked if an Omega could ever satisfy him now. The thought surfaced, unbidden, probably not. A sense of profound injustice washed over him. He accused Ethan of being a pervert and blamed him for everything. Ethan agreed, accepting all the blame. He kissed his eyelids gently, his voice soft. He asked if, since his husband couldn't seem to live without him now, he could have a chance. A chance to pursue him properly. A chance to make him fall in love with him. Liam wanted to argue that they were already married, that it was ridiculous. But looking into Ethan's sincere, hopeful eyes, he found himself giving a slow, almost imperceptible nod. He was an alpha and so was Ethan. But maybe, just maybe, this could work.